What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. Welcome back to the channel for this daily transfer extra news update, I guess. We are going to talk about Bremer, Parisi, Sandro, Allegri, and maybe I will touch on Chiesa as well on that topic. But before we get into all of that, as always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, because that will help us as well. And yeah, let's get into the latest updates. Okay, so I think everybody is reading the news. It feels like it's getting into more of a faster pace regarding getting potential deals over the line, ins and outs, getting more of a clear idea what's gonna happen. Like the Rabiot thing, he's apparently close to staying, so that can shape up a lot of things. Not getting Frattesi, not getting Savic, for example, or whatever we were linked with to begin with. All these things can have an effect, you know. What also can have an effect is selling players, because we are linked with a sale. One player is gonna leave, and one of the three, at least one, is gonna leave. Out of Bremer, Chiesa, and Vlahovic, you know. And we've talked about Chiesa for a long time. We've talked about Vlahovic for a long time. Maybe not lately, but we've talked about it. Now we need to discuss Bremer, because that's the news. Because according to Tutto Sport and Gazzetta dello Sport, Tottenham are going for him, and they're prepared to offer 50 million euros. The club wants more, and he's one of the players that could leave, who's in that list. Players who could leave would have a value. I'm not talking about Bonucci leaving or Alexandro leaving, of any of those guys, but players with a value. What Gazzetta also added is that Hermoso of Atletico Madrid and Pau Torres of Villarreal are the targets. Now, when I saw the news, I said, that's funny, because we're selling one and immediately buying one. I know the impact on the books. I don't know them in full details. It will have a positive impact, because you write one off immediately as profit, the other one not, blah, blah, blah. The issue is, this is a cycle we're not getting out of it, because we're getting players, and then in 2 seasons time or even season time, we're trying to move them on because cut costs on the books and get a new one in. That's not how you're going to build a squad. That's not sustainable, because it's every summer, it's the same story, you know. And probably Premier League fans are not having those discussions. It's only Serie A fans, you know. So I understand that letting him go and getting Pau Torres in financially benefits the club, but it's never ending cycle. That's my issue. Now, I've seen reports today that Aston Villa want to offer 60 million for Pau Torres. We're not going to pay 60 million for Pau Torres. And if Aston Villa can pay that up, and Unai Emery, his ex-coach, is the coach, Villarreal can accept 40 million from us. So you can almost brush that to the side. Hermoso, I've seen him play. I'm not a big fan of him. Never was, never will be. So that's not, for me, a player you can bring in to replace Bremer. The fear is, if it is Bremer, the fear is actually, who are you going to bring in? You know, like a bit like Chiesa, maybe even replacing Di Maria and potentially Sule. But with Chiesa and Bremer, I'm fearful, because if you lose Vlahovic, and I don't want to lose Vlahovic, you can get another striker and combine to score enough goals to get you over the line, you know, in the next coming 2 seasons, you know, for the goals we've set. Because we've done it in the past, you know. We don't always need a top scorer, because we only had it with Cristiano. But that means you need to have wingers to chip in. Chiesa, so you cannot lose Chiesa and whoever is on the right. But if you lose Bremer, okay, so I think it's harder to replace Chiesa than Bremer, in terms of, he is not unique, I want to say, but he's special in our squad. He's something, if he leaves Chiesa, we don't have any spark in that squad. If you lose Bremer, you will lose obviously something, but you can bring in a defender. The issue is, who is the defender? I don't want to lose Bremer, by the way, but who is the defender? Because Atalanta wants 40 million for Scalvini, and are you going to pair up Scalvini with Gatti? Probably not going to happen. That means Bonucci is going to play, which is also an issue. there are no real defenders out there we can get for easy money. I saw links with loaning Badiashile from Chelsea. That's not going to happen, and that should not happen because you need to have players not on loan. In these positions, they need to be your players, certified, 100% sure. So it is an issue if you lose Bremer because the options out there are not many, they're few, and the how do you want to say that, the lower tier options, if you want to call that, if you want to call them lower tier, are not excited. They're not. How do you want to say that? They don't fill you with confidence. So it could be an issue for many reasons. Also, apparently, we're gonna push on with the 3-5-2. Then selling Bremer makes absolutely no sense because he fits a 3-5-2, and that means you need to change it up one more time, and then you're gonna lose Chiesa as well if you stick it. If you stick to a 3-5-2 and you lose Bremer, because Chiesa's not gonna play that formation, he's gone. And probably for his own sake and ours as well, because it's going to be frustrating. So a lot of question marks, but you need to keep in mind that one of those three players could leave, and it can go really quickly in the coming days. It really can, because I think the club will set a price, and if the price is met, it can go extremely quickly. But let's see. This is basically the first day that it actually got to the point where Bremer has been heavily linked with potentially leaving. So let's see how that will develop, because that was the case with Vlahovic, and now it's all quiet on Vlahovic. So you need to see how that develops, of course. The positive news is Parisi. I think a few people who are watching this video have watched under 21s play against Switzerland. I haven't. Apparently he played well. He scored a goal, which is fine. He's a player. I think we all have a feeling that he's going to be a Juve player. It can happen any given time. He wants to join. We want him. We need him, and Empoli are very open to willing to sell. So it's all about timing in this deal, in my opinion. According to Mirko Di Natale, he says this week, it could be a decisive week to close the purchase of Parisi. Juve and Empoli will talk about it again in a few days. The agreement with the player has already been reached some time ago. Again, it feels like this is a type of deal that we will close relatively quickly the moment we decide to close that deal, because we need him. Even if Alexandro for some reason is going to say we need to bring these type of players in, replacing Quadrado, same on the other side, you need to replace these players, and you need to bring those players in. So am I fearful that this deal will not get done? At this moment in time, no. I think it will get done. Just I have no idea when. I think nobody has an idea when. Basically, it feels like it is done. They're just waiting on the right moment to absolutely completely close it. But he needs to be a Juve player. There's no ifs and buts. He needs to be a Juve player, starting the tour. Hopefully, starting the first preseason training, which will be later for him because he's playing at the Euro, so he probably will miss the tour as well. So, but that's a deal we should be getting over the line. Now, a deal we also should be getting over the line is Alexandro. Some Corriere dello Sport saying that he received a 2-year deal worth 50 million euros a season. I don't really believe. I think it's very easy to have these links now. Everybody's linked with a move to the Saudis. No matter who the player is, on insane wages. I think it's very easy reporting at this moment in time. I struggle to believe it, because if that was the case, I think he would have been gone by now. So I'm not sure about it. I think he's not going to be here at the end of the season because there's so many stories, I think, and he cannot be here at the end of, at the start of the season. I will say that he's not good enough. I don't want to see him play. I don't want to see him play by mistake or because we have so many injuries he needs to play. I don't want to be in that situation. He needs to leave the club, and it's done. I think nobody wants to watch him play again for us. I think it's fair to say that. It's terrible. It has been terrible for a while. It doesn't work out. I don't know what happened with Allegri and Calvo and this deal, because it's a complete mess. Because now you need to pay a player you don't even want to have, you want to keep. It looks all amateuristic. It does, and we are in the situation now. But you need to find a solution. He needs to leave because he's not good enough. and you need to get the wage off the book somehow. Now, if that proposal is true, okay, you know, you can make it work, and he can make it work. But I really struggle to believe that that proposal is true as of now, because otherwise, that end of contract would have been already done, basically, unless he doesn't want to go to the Saudis, which is, you know, own opinions, own, you know, desire, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, the story is so strong that the club wants to terminate this contract, that it surely needs to happen. Like, you cannot go into next season when you had talks about terminating the contract. You know, it's again a weird vibe to go into a new season, playing or no playing. Like, it's weird to be in the squad. But let's see how that will develop. You know, that's a deal that can be done also relatively late. You know, terminate a contract. But let's see about that. Gonna end this daily video here. Will be a new one on later today with the latest updates, probably also a live, so stay tuned for that as well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Ciao.